In this video I talk a lot about how to install, set up and use Notepad++ for my programming projects. Notepad++ is a free, open-source code editor that runs in the Windows environment. I use this program for most of the projects highlighted on my channel. In today's video I want to highlight some interesting ways I use Notepad++. But first, I'm going to download, install and set up this useful tool. In my web browser I go to the Notepad++ website. I have included a link to this location in the description below. Once there, click on the link for the latest version. On the download page, click the download button. When the file download is complete, open Windows File Manager and go to where the file was saved. Double-click on the install file and follow the prompts to complete the install. When I first open Notepad++, I see a revision history and info on other links that might be useful to learn more about this code editor. To help give a tour of Notepad++, I'm going to close the log file and open one of my HTML, CSS and JavaScript documents I have worked on in the past. As I focus on the HTML document, right off the bat I see that Notepad++ numbers each line entered in the program. This is a valuable tool when it comes time to debug my coding efforts. When I run into a problem with my code, I typically have some feedback as to what line of code that might be causing the problem. Notepad++ lets me easily find the line in question so that I can complete whatever troubleshooting steps needed to debug my code. When programming in languages that have open and closing code blocks, Notepad++ has a feature that is incredibly helpful. For example, in an HTML file, when I tap on either the opening or the closing tag, Notepad++ highlights the beginning and end of that item. This gives me a visual way to check for lines of code that have been improperly completed. Using this feature of Notepad++ has saved me a lot of time troubleshooting my code when things aren't working properly. Another powerful part of Notepad++ is the autocomplete feature. Returning to my HTML document, I can begin to type the first few letters of any HTML function, and Notepad++ will give me a list of possible options that may be used. To select a function and add it to my code, I simply tap the Tab button after selecting the item in the list that Notepad++ provides. The function is added to my document without me having to type the entire line into my code. No matter what type of document I'm working on in Notepad++, if I double-click on any word in the file, Notepad++ will highlight and display all the places that word is used throughout the document. The same happens in the CSS and JavaScript files. Knowing where I used a particular command or word in my document goes a long way in helping to identify places where I might need to make changes to my code. When I begin typing in a CSS file, Notepad++ shows suggestions for class names, selectors, and CSS formatting specifiers. Notepad++ has similar useful features when working in JavaScript files. When I type in a JavaScript file, Notepad++ shows helpful suggestions like JavaScript functions, and previously used variable or function names. This feature helps keep me from having to jump back and forth between files to try and figure out the exact wording of classes and functions that I might want to use. The autocomplete feature results are based on the file extension you are looking at. For example, in my CSS file, when I type the first few letters of a function, Notepad++ will display available CSS functions only. Notepad++ is smart enough to know that you do not need HTML or JavaScript language when working on a CSS file. Same goes for when I'm in a JavaScript or HTML file. Notepad++ will only display programming suggestions for the type of file I am working on. This feature helps me to quickly and accurately code my project. Another feature that I have found I use often when working on HTML projects is the View Current File option. This feature lets me preview my work in a web browser of my choosing. To access this feature, I tap on the View option on the menu bar. I then select View Current File and I then click on the browser I want to launch with my preview. Notepad++ renders my HTML file as it will be seen by visitors to my site using the browser I selected. If I choose to keep my preview file open in my browser, when I update my code and save the changes, I simply return to the browser and refresh the view. The new changes will be shown in the refreshed window. Alternatively, I may just continue to select the View Current File option in Notepad++ to open a new page showing the impact of changes I have made to my code. There are many other features of Notepad++ that I don't have time to highlight in this video. For more on how to use Notepad++ in a specific way, do a little digging on Google for ideas on how to use this powerful product. That's it for today's Tech Talk. Give Notepad++ a try for yourself. It's free and packed with powerful tools that might help you on your next coding project. Thanks for watching this episode of iTechalot. If you enjoyed it, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on future releases.